Thank you. Thank you very much. Please have a seat. Honorable Minister for Tourism, Dr. Mohammed Awal, Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration, and MP for Tatale, Honorable Patrick Mbumba. Honorable Members of Parliament, the Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, and his Deputy Governor, Dr. Maxwell Opoku Afari, Board Chairman, Your Excellency, the High Commissioner of Ghana to the UK, Papa Usu Ankoma, the Board Chairman of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, Mr. Alex Dade, CEO of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, Seyofi Grant, CEOs of public and private companies, distinguished invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed a privilege and an honor to have the opportunity to give the keynote address at this Ghana Investment and Opportunity Summit. I would like to take the opportunity offered by this platform to extend a congratulatory message to the King of England, King Charles III, for a successful coronation on 6 May 2023. I wish him a successful and long reign. I also wish to the government and people of the United Kingdom for remaining a close and dependable partner of Ghana for so many years. Our relationship, spanning over several decades, is cordial and mutually beneficial. I recall that in February 2021, Ghana and the United Kingdom signed a post-Brexit trade agreement allowing for the United Kingdom and Ghana to be much closer economically. Let me continue to thank Ghana's High Commissioner to the United Kingdom and Ireland, Papa Owusu Ankoma, the board and management of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, for extending an invitation for me to present the keynote address at this August event. After 2 successful summits, it is in the right direction that we continue to organize such a significant event that is in alignment with the period we currently find ourselves. My address today is going to highlight some of the major interventions the government of Ghana has initiated to ensure that the country's economic recovery plan is executed inclusively and robustly, which is in line with the theme for this summit, which is post-COVID economic recovery opportunities for the investor. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we are living in extraordinary times once again. Over the past 2 years, inflation has surged. Its rise has been large, sudden, and global. In many parts of the world, it is at levels unseen for generations. Meanwhile, financial systems have come under strain. For the first time in recent decades, we are seeing high inflation and financial stress emerging in tandem. The world, as we are all aware, continues to face difficult moments caused by several factors, including climate change, disruptions in the supply chain of manufacturing goods as a result of the pandemic, amongst others. These issues, as projected by the World Bank, are sinking some developed and developing countries into recession. Just when the world was recovering from the ravages of the COVID-19 pandemic, which came to shake the foundation of the world's economy, causing it to a standstill through its devastating effects, resulting in the fall in global gross domestic product by over 78%. War also broke out between Russia and Ukraine. Its consequence has not only affected the two countries, but also extended to other parts of the world, including Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, the world has realized that no one-size-fits-all customized answer exists for the route to economic recovery, thereby prompting countries to implement incipient systems and policies to resolve imminent difficulties arising from uncertainties emanating from climate change, inflation, and global economic instability. The government of Ghana remains unwaveringly committed and unswerving in employing resilient and dynamic measures that are distinctive to our economic recovery to proffer benefits to investors and the people of Ghana. Major fiscal and monetary interventions the government, together with stakeholders, have enrolled includes the introduction of the Gold for Oil program to address the balance of payments crisis. This intervention has been one of the most important macroeconomic policies to deal with the rising price of fuel and its implication. This is gradually setting the country on a course of stability in the general level of pricing. To further ensure financial stability of the country, government has established a financial stability fund with the help of development partners to provide liquidity support to banks, pension funds, insurance companies, fund managers, and collective investment schemes to ensure that they are able to meet their obligations to their clients as they fall due. We are confident that these measures will contribute to restoring macroeconomic stability. These measures would not have been possible without the cooperation of our stakeholders, especially those in the financial sector and investors. Ladies and gentlemen, Ghana has successfully secured a $3 billion IMF financial bailout to support our economic recovery. This aims to, among other things, restore macroeconomic stability and debt sustainability, and includes a wide-ranging reforms to build resilience and lay the foundation for stronger inclusive growth. The IMF program will help Ghana overcome immediate policy and financing challenges, including through mobilizing external financing from development partners and providing a framework for successful completion of the ongoing debt restructuring. To expand and diversify the supply base for value-added industrial export products and services, the government, through the National Export Development Strategy, has strategically outlined 17 sectors, which are not exhaustive and includes cocoa, cashew, horticultural products, oil seeds, fish and fishery products, textiles and garments, natural rubber sheets, and aluminium products as priority areas for national development. The government of Ghana envisaged that over a duration of 10 years, our non-traditional exports would grow from $2.5 billion to $25.3 billion by 2029. This, however, will be accompanied by deep structural transformation that will position Ghana as a competitive export-led economy. The government extensively is supporting the private sector growth in strategic export-oriented sectors to enable greater exports. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the underlying motive for this investment summit is to explore new areas of cooperation between Ghana and the United Kingdom. I must emphasize that Ghana is open for business, and we are ready to engage the business community in the United Kingdom to forge mutually beneficial cooperation. The destination for investment in Africa has always been Ghana, as it connects to every part of the continent. Another reason for the choice of Ghana as the preferred destination for investments in Africa is a stable political environment, working democracy, an independent judiciary to settle any investment disputes equitably and fairly, the application of the rule of law in a robust and firm manner, the most peaceful country in West Africa and the second most peaceful in Africa, cannot be overlooked, especially when the goal of every investor is to reap the return of their investments. Ghana gives exactly that. With its teeming, energetic youth, Ghana has attracted giants in the global automotive industry to set up assembling plants in the country. As we speak, conglomerates like Toyota, Suzuki, Nissan, Volkswagen, Sinotruk have joined Ghana's indigenous brand, Kantanka, in the automotive industry. Ghana's private sector continues to play a key role in the industrial transformation agenda and the economic growth of our country. The critical role it plays is undoubtedly complementing the country's efforts to minimize the over-reliance on the export of raw materials to export value-added produce. I have no doubt that the partnership between the private and the public sectors will go a long way to bring new expertise and useful ideas towards the formulation of the right policies by the government to induce and trade and investment. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to emphasize that the government of Ghana recognizes the need to work to improve services offered by the regulatory structure, increase the ease of doing business, preserve fiscal discipline, and encourage greater transparency and accountability to create a conducive environment for business to thrive. As we look into the future, I have always said that our future is in digitalization. And over the last 6 years, Ghana has positioned itself as one of the leading digital hubs in Africa. Ghana is the leading country in the world in the use of drones for the delivery of medical supplies. Ghana is the first country in Africa to implement mobile money interoperability between bank accounts and mobile money wallets. We are one of the few countries in the world to implement a universal QR code payment system, with fintechs, banks, and telcos being on one platform. We are one of the few countries in the world to implement a digital address system based on GPS technology. We are number one in the world in terms of access to financial inclusion. Indeed, thanks to the work of the Bank of Ghana, in Ghana today, anyone with a national ID card can open a bank account instantaneously by just dialing a USSD code for the bank and entering your national ID number. That's it. You don't have to go and fill any form, and your bank account is open. So facilitating this payment system obviously helps businesses because when you sell your products, you want it to be paid for efficiently. And I think we are able to do that, and it also is resulting in a thriving e-commerce industry in Ghana. Digitization is also de-risking the business environment by basically eliminating bureaucracy and corruption in the provision of many government services. And indeed, as I've said, we in Ghana are not afraid to lead Africa, and in some cases in the world, lead the world in some of these areas. As we've put all of this data together through the digitalization process, we see artificial intelligence and data as key to African economic transformation in sectors like agriculture, health, and education. Our digitalization story is really a story of a combination of political will on the one hand and the private sector on the other. Most people don't really realize that Ghana's digitization drive is a private sector driven policy initiative, because most of the financing, in fact, virtually all the digitization initiatives that have been done in Ghana have been, led by the private sector, whether we are talking of the national ID, the digital address, the Ghana.gov for platforms, or everything has been led by the indigenous private sector. And because they have an interest to make sure that the systems work, because when the systems work, they make money. When the systems are not working, they don't make money. So they have really an interest, unlike the public sector that doesn't have an interest in making the systems work. The private sector has an interest, because for the public sector, when the systems don't work, they make money. Right? But private sector, when they don't work, they don't make money. So we have gotten the incentives right to give the management of the systems to the private sector, who finance the system. So we are not putting up upfront financing for this. And I believe that what we have been able to do in working with the private sector in the digitalization space, we can replicate in virtually every space to get the private sector to come in and structure all these transactions so that they have an incentive to make money, provide the financing, and manage. So that this is where I think we ought to be going. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a strong delegation of both government and private sectors here, and they will present these specific investment opportunities, as you are seeing already, in the different panels. But please interact directly with these actors during networking sessions and talk to them in the stands outside. We want this summit to be interactive. Let there be connections and deals. By her strategic central location on the globe, as Yofi Grant tells us, Ghana is well positioned with excellent proximity and connectivity to key markets in Africa, Europe, Middle East, the Indian subcontinent, Asia, North and Latin America, and the Caribbean. And we are home to one of the West Africa's most prominent and efficient ports, Tema on the eastern coastline, which serves as a feedstock to the landlocked ECOWAS countries. There's also the Takoradi port on the western coast, which serves the logistics and oil and gas, and for oil and gas and allied industries. These access points mean companies have an easy route to the ECOWAS market and the African Continental Free Trade Area with 1.3 billion people and a combined and growing GDP of $3.4 trillion. As we have said, we have a stable political environment, a rule of law, an educated population, and a dynamic, youthful population which is very literate. And in the area of investments, Ghana is one of West Africa's investment bright spots and has ranked as the #1 destination for doing business over the last decade. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the Ghana outlook is favorable, notwithstanding the headwinds that we are facing. Is favorable, with prospects for medium-term growth pegged at around 5%, and we are open and optimistic about the future because despite the near-term headwinds, we are forging new relationships and establishing linkages through shared values, interests, and pragmatism. We are also going to be undertaking some very significant structural reforms to support our economy and maintaining fiscal discipline in the process. Our vision is to enhance Ghana's economic development through cooperation with advanced economies like the United Kingdom to take full advantage of the AFCFTA. We welcome a framework that will ensure that the UK investors participate in our growth story. We recommit to the strategic partnership with the private sector and enhanced efforts for industrialization and productive transformation to achieve sustainable economic growth and achieve economic opportunities for our citizens, especially women and the youth. In closing, it is my fervent hope that we can make this summit a milestone in our efforts to enhance our cooperation with new substance to our mutually beneficial partnership. I wish you fruitful deliberations, and I thank you for your attention. God bless you, and God bless Ghana and the United Kingdom. Thank you very much.